welcome to part 2, or as you have heard, de no ce soir. Thank you so much for staying with me in part 2. So part 2 we'll begin with skincare, and we'll begin with Skin Tonic Laboratories Vitamin C and Hyaluronic Acid Hydrating Glow Facial Serum. We will begin part 2 with this portion. If I had an eye serum for this kit, I would definitely use an eye serum because my eyes do get very dry underneath. So that is what I am looking for, is a eye serum base that works very well with this kit personally. The Spascription one works very well, but it works very well with another kit. Not every eye serum works very well with every application method. Kind of finicky, the same as each eyeshadow. Okay, and the product that I just went in with is, that happens. The product that I went in with is this one right here. This is by the Clinicals by Spascription, and this is the moisturizing cream, and this is the blue line. That's the blue line, and that's the product that I just used. Okay. And we're going to be applying with the Lori Beauty Sponge, which is exactly like that of the that other sponge from Sephora. We're gonna apply with that sponge. But this one is the Lori Beauty Sponge. This one is the Lori Beauty Sponge. So the base products that I'm going to be going in with are the concealers. These are concealers, but they are from L'Oreal. These are L'Oreal Paris Lumi Le Glow Tint. This is the shade, I'm going in with the shade 420 and the shade 320 in order to, well, because of how lightweight they both are in shades for my skin, I'm doubling up on the shade so that I can make it look like I've applied foundation, but I've only applied concealer. Okay, so this one that I'm going in with is the shade 420. This is the shade 420. I'm going in with a couple of pumps, and then the next one that I'm going in with is the shade 320. Shade 320. And grabbing the mirror again and applying the product. Okay, and now I am going to blend the product into the skin. So, the reason why I've chosen to wear a concealer instead of a foundation with this muted shade or with this entire palette altogether is because it works better with concealer type products instead of a foundation. The foundation I found will wash out the entirety of the eyeshadow, and you don't want the foundation to wash out the entirety of the eyeshadow, otherwise there would be no reason for Revolution to make the eyeshadow as pigmented as they've made the eyeshadow. So a palette like this one from Revolution works very well with a concealer application as foundation, because it helps to bring out, as you can see already happening, it helps to bring out the shades in the eyeshadows more because of how application sensitive they are when it comes to the base. What type of base is best to apply? They work best with concealer application as foundation. So you can see that at the end of blending out both concealers, that the eyeshadow as the shade Canary has reached its full potential in the form of oxidization. So it's oxidizing from skin tone all the way through to that concealer application as foundation. And as I said, if you use the shade Canary with an actual foundation, it will make the shade disappear. So it's better to apply the product even more with concealer and not foundation as your full foundation base. Okay, so that is that. And then, because of habit and use, and because my eyes also get dry there, I'm gonna apply the Maybelline Superstay shade 57 concealer just to prevent my under eyes from getting very dry and very crepey. So let's get into applying the concealer. I need my left hand for this. I'm very left-handed when it comes to my application. Very left-handed. Actually, the judges asked me to refrain from wearing jewelry, so that's why I'm not wearing jewelry for those asking. The judges asked me to refrain from wearing jewelry. So let's use the same sponge and blend out the eyeshadow. Not the eyeshadow, the concealer. Okay, and that is basically the entire portion of the liquid application, which is concealer. I used 3 different concealers for this application. I used these 2 as foundation and this one as a regular concealer applicator. So I used the shade 420 and the shade 320 from the L'Oreal Paris Lumi Le Glow tint as my full entire face in order to help maximize the Canary shade, which is this shade, in this eyeshadow palette even more, because as I said, not every base works with every eyeshadow. This eyeshadow palette works best with a concealer applied base such as these, in order to make sure that the shades are not very muted. So when applying these eyeshadows, use these in order to make the shade stand out even more. Alright, we will be back with part 3, which is Les Choux et Donner et Soie Part 3, which is, by the way, the powder application.